Nerds and geeks and everything in between. Welcome to the Speaking Nerd podcast. I haven't been with the podcast for a bit, so this is going to be fun. And today we're going to talk about
This will
someone
be
that
fun. You
means
know
a
what
lot
we're talking about?
to us, Kevin Conroy.
Yeah, yeah. Last Thursday, Friday, I think.
Friday. I think it was Friday.
I know the news came out on Friday, but it might have been like the night before that.
Okay.
No,
Anyway,
Thursday was like when rumors and stuff were starting to come out,
okay. Well,
and then Friday it was confirmed.
let's just say like Friday, because
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it was Friday.
Okay. So last Friday, we got the announcement that Kevin Conroy, who we all know as the definitive voice of Batman, our childhood Batman,
Yeah.
is sadly no longer with us. Yeah, the amount of words that could be said about that, just the pain and the sadness, we all shared
Heartbreaking.
was pretty. Yeah, it was heartbreaking. When did you guys, or where did you guys find out about it? I'm
You
curious.
guys can go for it. Mine is really embarrassing. It's,
Well, I was in. So that week was the play week. I practiced every day after school for hours and hours.
Mm-hmm.
So the day I found out, Friday, was the day of the play. So I found out in, I believe it was fourth period. Um, Someone just told me that, and I literally couldn't think of it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I was just in shock.
Absolutely. Alter, where did you find out about it?
All right, so uh, my boy Sonny, shout out to him. He messaged me at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, bro, I'm trying to sleep. He messaged me. He's like, bro, I got some news, and I'm like, well, hurry up and tell me because I want to pass out. And he's like, Kevin Conroy, I think, passed away. I've heard rumors that he's passed away, and I was like, bullshit, and was kind of on edge that night. But I went to sleep. It's like maybe it's just maybe he's not true. And I woke up, and I think it was around like fourth period math, bro. I'm sitting in class. I finished my work. I'm just scrolling through Instagram, and I saw where it was officially confirmed that Kevin Conroy passed away, and I skipped class to go cry.
Yeah. Um, Swifty, you want to
like,
go first?
yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
That's
because I
sad.
think mine is more embarrassing than yours is.
Oh,
But
I don't know. All right, we'll find out. So, I was taking a dump, and I was scrolling through
Why did I know
TikTok.
that's exactly where that was gonna go?
I was scrolling through TikTok as one does while taking a dump, and I saw somebody saying "Rest in peace, Batman," and I was like, "What does that mean?" And then it said, "Kevin Conroy, you'll forever be missed." And I immediately, out loud, I said, "No, no, 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 no," like kind of like that. And I exited out of TikTok, searched it up, and it was all over the news feed. It was like literally 15 minutes after it was like officially confirmed, and I, that's I think for all of us, that's a conversation that we never want to think about. It's like, what if this person passed away, or how are you going to feel? Like, whenever someone brings that up about people that you greatly admire or have deeply impacted your life,
yeah,
it's like, but I didn't cry right away. I got off the toilet, thankfully, and I kind of just walked around my house for a bit, sat down on the couch, and thought about it, and still processed it. And then I had a couple episodes that day of just crying. Um,
Yeah, for a
it was,
while I didn't talk to people.
yeah, I avoided kind of looking at Twitter and looking at social media for a bit because I just couldn't. Every time I saw a picture of his face, it would just, yeah. Well, and we'll talk more about it in the video. But what about you, Marvel?
Actually, I found out thanks to you guys. I woke up. It was about like 10 o'clock where my time, and somebody had sent it to our group chat that we have on
I think it was Alter.
Instagram. Yeah, I think Alter sent it. And I mean, like you guys, I was in complete disbelief at first because I'm like, no, 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 no. Like, this can't, like, Batman can't be fucking dead. So I went onto every social media. I went on like every article I could find just to see, what the case was, and just to see if there was some more insight into it. And after like at least like 15 minutes of just scrolling through, like it just that realization hit in,
Right.
and it's just like, wow, he is really gone. He's not here anymore. And I'm not gonna lie, I shed some tears, and
No shame here, man.
yeah, I spent the rest of the morning, and I was watching as many interviews and clips as I could find of him. I had on my phone, I had an episode of Kevin Smith's podcast, Fat Man on Batman. I had an episode they had Kevin on. The whole, like, the rest of that morning, I went into work later that day, and like between the time of me starting to listen to it and by the time I left for work, like I was just listening to his life story, and him pouring his heart out over him loving acting, and it was just upsetting. Like, after that first day, I just kind of like buckled down for the weekend, and it didn't really communicate with anybody, and yeah, it was tough. That weekend was especially tough. So.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, this is getting me a little bit emotional, but he. I didn't. Well, I guess let's just talk about Kevin. Let's just tell our stories about him and stuff. Like, I think that's like, we just want to remember him, guys. Like, I'm talking to the viewers here, but we just want to remember him for who he was and what he accomplished, and not just him as Batman, but him as a person. He was, it's a shame because, for those of you that don't know, I'm the only one in the Speaking Nerd podcast who never got to meet him. And unfortunately, we were just talking about this like 2 weeks ago, and I remember Marvel said, "Oh, you'll be able to meet him. You'll meet him when that day comes." And I was like, "Yeah, I guess so. I'll think of that. I'll meet him sometime soon, probably next year at a con." And then 2 weeks passes and he's gone, and I'll never be able to get the chance to tell him what he meant to me. And he saved me a million times, when life was really hard. I would turn on Arkham Asylum, and I would just play it.
Yeah, I felt especially bad for Swifty because I knew that, he didn't really have that interaction like, the rest of us did. And, I mean, I was planning, I don't know if I told you this yet, but I was planning on buying a Swifty a cameo for his birthday of Kevin Conroy.
Oh, that's so sweet of you.
Yeah, because I felt like, because we talked about it over the summer too. Like, we've talked about it on a few occasions, con trips and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, well, at least he'll have some, interaction with Kevin in some regard.
Yeah.
I wish I could have done it. I didn't have like money at the time to do it, so.
Hey, no, that doesn't matter. I just appreciate you even considering that. I didn't know that. That's really sweet.
Yeah.
He meant so much to so many people, and I feel like sometimes people who aren't fans don't understand why we get so upset. but they just have to understand that, like, this guy was Batman. It's not like he played Batman. He was Batman. It's like, I feel like I lost Batman. Like, even though we'll get a million more comics, we'll get a million more movies and video games, TV shows, whatever, but we're not going to get a million more Kevin Conroys.
No.
But, you know, he is someone who in 20, 30 years, I'll tell my kids, that's a little much, not 20, 30 years, 15 years.
50-year-old parents.
Jesus Christ.
In like
Oh,
10 to 15 years, I'll be telling my young kids, like, this is Batman, nobody else. There's other people that will try, or there's other people that are good, but nobody else is Batman. And I relish in the thought of, like, I'm content. The only thing I'm content with is that he was Batman. His passing is just a blow. Like, and I think it'll always be that way.
No.
Like, I don't think I'll ever get over it because, well, I never met him, and it's who he was. He was like a shining light. Every time you heard him talk, it brought a smile to your face. Like, he cared so much about his fans. Like, he was an amazing human being.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm talking a lot. You guys go ahead.
It's fine. I said this on Instagram. I said this on my story when, everybody was doing, their posts about Kevin. But, like, not only was, he was the Dark Knight, but he was also, a beacon of hope for everybody. Like, not even just comic book fans, like actors and, of all, races and, affiliations. Like, this past week, like, I finally sat down and read his story he did for Pride Month. And, like, it was just incredibly moving. And,
oh, yeah. Finding Batman, it's beautiful, it's sad. Kevin,
Yeah. Yeah, he was a true, like, thespian of our time.
No, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask you guys, just for continuing the conversation, but where did you guys first hear Kevin as Batman? In
Arkham Asylum.
Whenever meeting Arkham Asylum?
Yeah. Considering, like, we're all younger than Marvel by only a few years here, but I think I was, like, I played it in 2011, I think, so I must have been 8.
Yeah.
So I was I was at the age of when, like, people from the early 2000s heard him on the animated series. So Arkham Asylum, I think that's partially why it's so close to me, is, like, that was my first introduction to Batman, Kevin Conroy. So yeah, that was my first encounter with him. I was hooked immediately when you hear that voice.
Yeah.
It's like,
what about you, AJ?
Well, the first time I heard Kevin Conroy, when I was 5, I saw Batman the Animated Series on the Fox box on Sunday morning. I remember it very distinctly. It's one of the only early memories that I remember. And I remember watching opening and just being in complete awe. And whenever I heard that voice, I knew that's Batman. Like, there's not been a single voice I have heard while I'm reading comics besides Kevin Conroy.
Mm-hmm.
No one else.
Yeah. What about you, Walter?
Oh, my fault. I had to clear my throat. So first time, I swear to God, I came out the womb knowing Kevin Conroy. Like I think my earliest memory of Kevin Conroy, because I'm gonna be real with you, I can't really remember a time where I didn't know Kevin Conroy, but I think my earliest memory of him was watching reruns of Batman the Animated Series on the Hub, which is a very uh bad name for a TV network now. But if you remember what the Hub was, shout out to you, you're a real one.
Yeah.
I literally was like, "What is he talking
Yeah, I
about?"
used to.
Not that hub.
What kind of Batman
It
animated
got
series
it
are
got
you
bought out
watching?
by like Kevin Conroy, man. He was into some weird stuff. I mean, it's Bruce Tim. I made a video about that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I was just like it's just his voice was just so like it was powerful. Like the way like how he would deliver his lines. I remember the first episode of the animated series I watched, which was one of the parts of Cat in the Claw.
Yeah.
And just watching that for the first time as like a 3-year-old child, like I don't know, it gave me courage almost. Just seeing his performance as Batman, and then later growing up and eventually getting into the Arkham games and going back and watching like Batman Beyond, and Justice League Unlimited, and stuff like that, and just just witnessing everything that Kevin did.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Yeah. I too was also my first experience with him was Batman the Animated Series. I didn't watch it on TV. I didn't watch it on reruns. Um, we would rent. Uh, they used to for back in the day. We used to have DVDs that would have 3 episodes, 3 to 4 episodes on them, and like they had
oh yeah,
multiple
I
ones.
remember I used to have one of those. It was like there was one of them that's called like Batman and Friends that had like 3 or 4 episodes of the
Yeah,
animated series on it.
yeah,
I have the one that's like just the Catwoman. I have the Cat in the Claw ones, and
yeah.
like
Yeah, there's
one
like
other one.
themed collections.
Yeah. Yeah, the episode I always remember, this was like a 2, 3 year old watching this was I think it was the Underdweller episode where it's all the
Yeah,
kids being controlled by like some it's almost like
yeah.
it's almost like the rat catcher from Team NT, but he just stole kids.
Yeah, when
Like Ninja
Batman
Turtles,
says,
but child slavery.
Basically.
I
Just
I reserve I reserve judgment for the courts at
little
this
little
time.
little
I'm
side
sorely
thing.
tempted.
Little side thing. Anything with Batman and kids like is peak Batman.
Mm.
Batman is like the to see Batman with kids and to hear Kevin
I mean, we can
Conroy
we can go ahead
as
and talk
Batman.
about epilogue from Justice League if you want to.
Yes, I mean, what a perfect example. That episode makes me
That
cry
is my
every time I
all-time
see it.
favorite Batman moment of all time.
Yeah, it's up there with me. I don't know. It's so good. Yeah, it
Yeah.
makes me cry every single time.
Same here.
I can't keep it together.
I
See,
actually just watched
I
that right before we started recording.
Really?
Yeah, I did. Because
I actually have a
my mom,
You want to know what I?
oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say. Right after the news came out that Kevin had passed, I actually someone posted the clip of the Nightfall Protocol ending from Arkham Knight, and that just
Yeah,
hit different
Oh yeah,
that day.
yeah. I've been seeing a lot of that.
yeah. Yeah, the one that always gets me, like for Arkham clips, that somebody posted the one with Catwoman, like after you beat the Riddler and stuff.
Yeah,
It's like we can't do this anymore, Selena. It's just like, oh goddamn, why do you hit my emotions like this?
yeah.
But
You know what's crazy is that Arkham Knight never really was that emotional of a game to me until Kevin passed, and I started rewatching a lot of the clips and stuff, and it hits.
yeah, yeah, I think those moments like they hit a lot harder. Like out of context than they do in context. Like it just if you just isolate that clip, like it hits a whole lot harder than actually in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really think that, I mean, speaking of Justice League, I think it would be great if, you know that episode of Justice League where they're all like clanking beers in the Watchtower? You know what I'm talking about?
Maybe.
Well,
They're doing
I think,
what?
like clanking beer glasses, like cheering and stuff.
Oh,
in the
wait, yeah, I think
Watchtower.
I know what you're talking about.
Well, I really think it would be a really nice, sweet thing if they got, you know, like Rosenbaum, Susan, you know, the whole original cast, to kind of do like a farewell to Kevin kind of thing, and just them talk about it as if they're talking about Batman in the Justice League universe, but we all know it's about Kevin. And then they kind of just like salute it. You know what I mean? Like it would be. I just think it'd be really sweet to see that, because it's something, you know, now that he's gone, we're never going to see the possibilities of what could have happened with other Batman roles that he would have gotten in the future. And I know that Justice League, a revamp or another season, is something that a lot of people were talking about that they would have wanted.
Yeah.
But I just think it would be really heartwarming.
I'm just saying, though.
Because that cast was so perfect together, and it would be really emotional.
Absolutely. What were you going to say, Alton?
For the love of God, can Warner Brothers just like from now on, I don't want to see anything else from the DCAU or the Arkhamverse.
Me neither. I don't know.
Like without Kevin, it's not gonna be like you can't just recast him.
No. I think though that especially someone like Rocksteady, like, well, what would really stink is if he probably is, if he's in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I don't know what they're gonna do, but you can't recast that Batman, particularly because this is the fourth game in a franchise. It's like
You can't recast Kevin.
No, it's like, yeah, I don't care about continuity. It's like, don't touch Kevin. Like, don't do it.
Yeah.
But I think what I'm saying is, I think the studios will have enough respect for that, and they won't touch the things that they know that Kevin was so ingrained within.
Do you know what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Because Warner Brothers, they will spit on anyone's grave.
Yeah, but I feel like they wouldn't, like, not Warner Bros., but the studios that are making these things wouldn't budge with that. I honestly feel like if they tried to revamp Justice League, I honestly don't think the cast would do it. They wouldn't. They were too close together. They would not do it.
No, they wouldn't allow it.
No. Especially, you see how defensive everyone who knew Kevin is, like, defensive of his legacy and how much they loved him. Like, there's no way. Thankfully, thank God he worked with such great people.
I mean, plus, like, you know, in regards to a Justice League thing, Bruce Timm, James Tucker, anybody who worked on the shows would not do it without Kevin.
Right. It's going to be hard to. Well, I think also this means that Mark Hamill probably won't be doing Joker anymore, like ever again.
Oh, absolutely not. No. Because they were
a team. They were a team. Like, anytime Kevin,
they were the voice acting dynamic duo.
They were.
When was the last time we saw the two of them together? Was that Killing Joke?
I think it was Killing Joke.
Killing Joke, or maybe Lego DC Supervillains, but
was Mark Hamill in DC Supervillains?
I think so.
Kevin was too.
I
haven't played that game, so I don't know.
Yeah, Kevin voiced Batman in that. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would have thought it was Troy Baker. I don't know why. I guess because it's Lego.
I
Yeah,
mean,
Troy Baker
because he played
let me
Batman in every other Lego Batman game.
Lego movie and Lego Batman.
Yeah,
Mm.
but I'm.
I mean, I don't know
I'd
why
rather-
for DC supervillain they decided to just get Conroy, but I'm not complaining.
No.
So, I kind of, for the episode, I kind of just wanted to talk about, Kevin's career in some ways. Like, besides his Batman stuff, I wanted to go over, some of the other things he's done, both voice acting and on stage or on camera, too. Before we get into all the Batman stuff. Like, one of the roles that like sticks out in my head, or like I watched this yesterday because lately I've been on a Kevin Smith binge, and he was in Yoga Hosers. Like he had a short cameo. I don't know if any of you saw that movie, but there's a clip of him posted on Twitter on Kevin Smith's Twitter account.
It's the Kevin Smith movie everybody hates.
Yeah, and he's the best goddamn thing in it. He was in He-Man, Masters of the Universe, the new Netflix show.
He played
Merman.
Merman?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Merman.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that show, and I love that Kevin was in it, and Mark Hamill.
Yeah. I like that he.
Wasn't Kevin in like Ben 10?
In what?
What was that?
Wasn't he in Ben 10?
Yeah, he was. He played the plant guy.
You know what? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
The
vine guy.
Like when I was younger, all I knew him for was playing Batman, and then I just knew he had one random role on Ben 10.
I just learned recently he was in a Max Payne game. He's just the strangest, the strangest. Like he just played some random soldier or something like that.
He's got to pay the bill somehow.
I guess so. If they're not casting him as Batman, which they always should.
Opportunities weren't really as much of a thing as they are nowadays, especially back when the Max Payne games were coming out.
I mean, true.
There is one thing that I think would be fun to mention because I always enjoyed it since I first saw it. When he appeared on the Daily Show.
Yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that's one of my favorite things ever.
Fought Tim Daly.
Yep, that was awesome. That.
Oh, now I gotta look up the Conroy Daily Show because I have no clue you guys are talking about.
I got into that like
Tim Daly.
Superman.
I got into that like so long.
Yeah, because was it like 2013, 2014 when they shot that?
It was.
Yeah. Around there. I found it randomly, and I was automatically in. Just seeing Kevin embody Batman.
Yeah. I love the Daily Show. Like I love I've seen almost every episode of it, especially the ones that have like other voice actors like Susan Eisenberg and Nathan Fillion, and then there was also like the Council of Superman and stuff. The Kevin episode was the best one by far.
Yeah, and Kevin Conroy. I mean, you just can't.
Kevin had such range as an act, not even just a voice actor, but just an actor in general. Like, yeah, he could do all different emotions one after another, like in the snap of a finger. Like he was that good. And
I mean, he was a born actor.
And he went to Juilliard too.
Bro was brought up on Broadway.
Yeah. Yeah, he went to
Yeah, and
he went to
And didn't he have?
Juilliard.
Wasn't he roommates with like Robin Williams?
And
Yeah,
Chris
he
Reeve.
did.
Well, no,
Chris,
he wasn't. He wasn't
he
roommates
knew
with
Chris
Chris Reeve.
Reeve.
He was gonna be roommates with him, but it was too expensive.
Yeah.
The apartment.
He also knew Kelsey Grammer too, who
Yep.
I mean, he is Frasier, but I know him as Beast. So, yeah, like as mentioned, like he had a long standing run on Broadway from between the time he left Juilliard, and I think it was up until like the mid to late '80s or something like
Yeah, it
like
was.
yeah. And he did
Actually,
like
I have a funny story about Kevin on Broadway.
yeah.
That he told us whenever he did his Q&A thing at one of my local cons. So pretty much, someone asked him about his career on Broadway, and he said that it was fun. It was fun until you learned that some like the fake swords that they would have them use were sharp as hell.
Hmm.
And he said he detailed a time where he was just like practicing with one of them for something he was doing on Broadway, and he just stabbed himself and didn't know it.
No.
And so it was like bro was like bleeding out, and he's like, "No, I don't feel anything," and there's just blood everywhere.
Yeah. Wow. Almost.
That was a it was a pretty. I wish I still had the clip. I have like a really low quality clip version of the clip where like of his Q&A,
Didn't you
because
ask him a
he
question?
goes like really into detail on like how he got stabbed, and it's brutal as hell.
Oh man. Didn't you ask him a question at the Q&A too? I remember you like saying that
I
to
did
us.
ask him a question at the Q&A.
Yeah.
I asked him. It's also on the video. If I can never find it, I will post it. It's
Please
of
do.
I asked him what like out of his 20 or so years, I guess almost 30 now, or is 30 now.
Over
Like the
over
30th
30.
anniversary was
Yeah.
recent. So I guess well at the time it was like 25, something like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, out of the 25 years you've played Batman, out of all of them, which role did you have the most fun with, and which one would you consider your favorite? And I swear to God, he gave the longest answer. He went on, like he just started going off on how Batman as a character has always changed, or has never changed throughout the years, and is always, how he's always going to be this figure of hope, and how Batman isn't really a superhero, how he's more of just a normal hero, how he's a normal person.
Yeah.
And he talks about all the different characteristics of Batman, and you could really tell how passionate he was about Batman just from the question I asked him.
Yeah.
And he did at the end of answering everything. He said, to give you like a definitive answer, he said that his favorite role would have been the animated series, just because that's where he got to learn everything about the character.
Yeah.
But at the time, because I was like 13, I was like 12 or 13. Like I think I really did take that moment for granted, especially now that he's gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Any interview I watch with him, any panel that I see him on, like I just anytime he's telling this long story, like I'm always like just my eyes are fixated on it, just listening to every word, because I mean he really does know his stuff as as a true actor. Like, he knows better than most people, I'd say. But I guess we should kind of get into the various versions of Batman he's played over the years. Like, I mean, of course,
There's
like,
been a good amount.
yeah. I mean, we got. I'd say our favorites are his DCAU role and the Arkham games, the Arkham series. Like those are the
Certainly.
two most definitive portrayals that he's done. the definitive iterations, I'd say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of them that, like, I mean, one of my favorites is Gotham Knight. He does
I
a
love
terrific job in that movie.
Yeah.
Especially the segment where it talks about gun.
Yeah.
Go check out our superhero anime video, by the
Oh
way.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, we
Yeah.
did talk about Gotham Knight on that video.
I mean, I love his portrayal of Batman and Batman Superman Public Enemy.
Yeah, that's.
I think
that's
one of my favorite
one of my
portrayals of
favorites.
Batman that he has is Justice League Doom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one I really like because he's just.
We all know
like,
Batman and Harley Quinn's the best one.
of course. I like Justice League Doom a lot because he's just an asshole the entire time. He's just
I really enjoyed him in that film. I don't know. I feel like Kevin's Batman was one of my favorite parts of Justice League Doom.
yeah.
I really liked Kevin's work in Justice League Action.
Yeah, I haven't
That show
watched
was
too
so
much of it,
underrated.
but from the stuff I did see was pretty great.
I love that show pretty much immediately. So every Saturday morning.
I mean, I haven't seen it since it first started airing in like 2018, 2019. Like I haven't seen it since it first aired, but I remember I did really enjoy it.
One underrated or two underrated roles of Batman, I'd say, are his guest spot in Teen Titans Go, and then also the Tales of Metropolis short from DC Nation.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm the DC Nation expert. I'm the DC Nation god. You should ask me.
Yeah.
You know what? One of my favorite guest appearances is in World's Finest of Superman the Animated Series. I love him in that so much. I mean, yeah, it's DCAU, but I feel like not a lot of people talk about the World's Finest triple
I have that
special.
on DVD. Like
Yeah, I think you told me
the
about that. That's
version
awesome.
that is like collected into a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And
I need to find one and buy it.
Man,
Yeah.
I was obsessed.
It's probably the best
as a
meeting
kid, like,
Batman and Superman will ever have in
watched it
media.
again.
I agree.
Again. Oh, absolutely.
And like, can we just get this out of the way? Tim Daly is the best Superman voice, and hearing him and
Yes.
Kevin
Yes.
talk together, like George Newbern's really good, but he is not like he's used for everything now, and Tim Daly doesn't get enough love. Him and Kevin have such a great chemistry, particularly when Superman becomes Batman for a night with Robin.
Yeah.
That was so great. But Kevin really stretched his wings in that one because he kind of plays this like delirious Bruce Wayne towards the end of it, and he really sells it. Like it just shows how great of an actor he is. He can just play these different versions of the same character and have you totally convinced.
The first line he gives in the entire show wasn't even a Bruce Wayne line. It was, you know, his freaking cop or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is so interesting.
We are not about to go through this whole episode without talking about Injustice.
I was going to bring Injustice up, but I feel like I'm not a big Injustice fan, so that's why. I like Injustice, but I don't love it.
I mean, Kevin's great.
The voice
Kevin is great in it, yeah.
The voice actors are probably the best part of Injustice to me.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to be fair though, I do think that NetherRealm as a game studio cannot tell a good story to save their life. However, it was really interesting seeing Kevin basically interact with himself.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool.
Yeah.
Should we bring up Crisis?
Yeah, we were bound to get there.
I was going to. as much as I feel like it was wasted, I'm still happy that he got to play Batman in live action.
I'm
He
too.
earned that.
Me too.
Like,
And the guest appearances
regardless of
saved
the
Crisis.
regardless of the writing of the crossover, Kevin Conroy just absolutely killed it.
Yeah, he did.
Even though that particular
I
version
always
of
said
Bruce
that they were
Wayne
going
just
to.
doesn't work at all.
And it's not something I
thought
would ever picture Kevin Conroy playing.
No.
That kind of Bruce Wayne.
I thought it was curious, like how Kevin Conroy thought about it behind the scenes, how he described, that version of Bruce Wayne. It was just,
I imagine
really
that.
He
cool to
never
me.
said it was great. He was just like, it's really interesting the direction they're going with this version. I'm like, yeah, we know what you're saying.
You know what I think happened is that
So
I
here's
think
one of two things. I either think that he thought it was like an interesting Elseworlds take, or they offered him the biggest bag of his life.
I don't think Kevin would actually do it for completely for the money though.
you know what I
Because
think
how
happened
much he cared.
is
What?
is that they got the call, or he got the call from Warner Brothers, CW, whoever, and it's like, would you like to play Batman in live action? And he was just like, yeah, yeah. And then he gets on the set and he actually reads the script and he's just like, oh shit.
Yeah,
what have I got myself into?
What have I done?
I failed you,
The biggest-
parents.
The biggest bummer for me was that he only got to be in that episode. Like, man,
Yeah.
should have been in the finale.
And he was only there for like 5 minutes, or maybe
Yeah.
even less than that. So,
Yeah, and he got killed in a kick.
yeah.
Did he get killed in the show? I don't remember.
Kate killed him off.
Yeah.
They literally should have, if they were going to kill the evil version off, they should have brought him in as like a good Bruce Wayne. I don't know. It's just so stupid what they did.
Yeah, I don't know
I-
why they didn't, like,
I-
when the finale wrap around and they're like, oh, the multiverse has been restored and, hope has been brought back. Why didn't they just show him, like, in Wayne Manor, like, waiting for the bat signal or something?
Right.
So,
Or he's like on calm.
You want to know an even
Terry
better
Milligan.
role that Kevin Conroy has played?
What?
By far, his best Batman role has been his role on Robot Chicken.
Oh, right.
oh, I almost forgot about that.
See, I wish Kevin. I always have said this since I was younger, is that Kevin should have been in a live action film as like an older Bruce Wayne. Whether it's a Batman Beyond.
No, I've
I don't
always
care
said
if
that
it's
he would
Batman
kill it
Beyond.
in a Dark Knight Returns to me.
Like, why did they get Michael Keaton? I would have rather had Kevin Conroy. Like, I love Michael Keaton as Batman, but imagine if we had Kevin Conroy, a totally new version of Batman, his version in the Flash,
You wouldn't
in the
be
DCEU.
in trouble of continuity.
Yeah. Or like, yeah, I don't know. There's so many routes they could have taken, but I just wish that Kevin could have been the hopeful, dark, charismatic Batman that he was in the animated series.
Yeah.
He deserved that much.
He did, because like that version of Batman sets in stone the proof of what Batman really is in the comic books. It's not some dude who just like beats the hell out of thugs for nothing, or even beats the hell out of thugs at all.
Batman be like, now talk.
Yeah, or I'll crush every bone in your body.
Yeah. Yeah.
Batman doesn't beat the hell out of people, and then he play Arkham Knight, and it's, oh.
There's that
Oh.
one performance from Old Wounds where Kevin sounds great, where he's beating the thug up in front of his kid, in front of the guy's kids, and Kevin just has like this incredibly angry sound to his voice.
The thing that I love about New Batman Adventures, and it's specifically with how it is transitioned from the original version of the show to New Batman Adventures, is that they integrate the change in like design of Batman, but also the change of like voice into his like character journey.
I think probably that had a lot to do with Kevin as well.
Yeah, like the fact that he doesn't have a Bruce Wayne voice anymore.
Yeah, I
Everything
love
is just Batman.
Yeah.
And it was I think that was best explored in Old Rooms and in um uh Scarecrow episode.
Oh,
The name
I'm
escapes
not.
me.
I'm not remembering the
Can we
name,
talk
but
about Kevin Conroy? No, go ahead.
I think we were done.
Oh, were
Go ahead.
you? My fault. I
Yeah,
just
no, you're good.
started talking. People started talking over me. My fault.
No, you
No, I
go.
was about to say this is gonna be a really dumb joke. You can cut this out if you want, but man, Kevin Conroy's Batman had the ultimate riz. That man pulled Lois Lane, Wonder Woman, that
Dude,
girl.
he was with everyone. Well, oh man, he was with every single one that you could possibly. He was with Catwoman. I mean,
Think of a
okay,
female DC character. Kevin's
he,
Bruce
he,
slept
he
with
was
him.
with them. Yeah.
Harley Quinn.
Oh God, we don't want to talk. Well, I don't ever want to be reminded that, like in my head canon, he was never with Batgirl or Harley Quinn. That's just disgraceful to think of those things. I like Batman and Wonder Woman
Nah,
in
bro.
Justice League.
Him
In
getting
Justice League,
him
it
getting with
worked.
Harley Quinn is the ultimate diss to the Joker.
What He's like, I got you now.
Just like I'm fucking your wife. Huh? Look at this.
Oh shit, he really is fucking her. Am I
Based on everyone else, the Joker's a cuckold.
am I the only one that likes the idea of Batman and Diana together? Not in any other media, but in that show, it works really well.
In the
to me.
show, it works. I don't think it works anywhere else but there.
It is.
I agree.
It is so funny though.
I
It's so
think-
funny in the new Harley Quinn show though. The way that they make fun of that ship in the new Harley Quinn show is perfect.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird
I
though
think-
how
Because it's like overly sexual. She's like, it's like overly sexual because Diana will be like, she'll be like, well, Bruce, are those muscles real or is it just a suit? And he's like, well, you can take it off.
Yeah, that's right.
they tried? Zack Snyder tried to do it too. He tried to allude to it, and I'm like, it's not going to work here. It's just not. It can't be anything but the Justice League show.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's just no one has had or will ever have the chemistry that Kevin and Susan had.
I agree.
It was just too perfect.
Are we just gonna ignore the fact that Bruce slept with Lois Lane and signs Clark Kent's paychecks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they
Owns
sleep
him.
together? Did they?
You see that.
I mean, you knew it had to happen
Yeah.
at some point.
See,
It's
like,
a kid
Batman
show.
doesn't-
Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
you see, Batman doesn't need kryptonite to beat Superman. He has that.
DC's like real heroes don't do that, but Bruce Wayne is not a real hero.
He's got money out the ass. He can do whatever the fuck he
Batman's
wants.
a superhero. He's just a man.
Without Batman,
In the
DC
words
would
of
be making money right now.
Kevin.
So they should shut the fuck up.
I mean, that's been the case for like the last 30 years, basically. So, it's like whenever property we have, it's like, oh, it won't work unless Batman is involved in some way.
It's Batman and DC.
The Batman cinematic universe. That's what it basically turned into.
That's why it's called Detective Comics. Comics, baby.
Yeah, that's right. Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah. He's had such an amazing time.
Kevin
as
Conroy
Batman.
played Batman in anything else.
The thing I love about all these different iterations that he's done is that not only can he sound, I mean, he's remained consistent, but he's done it to a point where they're all unique from each other. Like no one Batman of his is alike.
I mean, his voice has gradually gotten different since the animated series. It's gotten rougher,
Yeah.
which I kind of prefer. I don't know. It is weird watching like Sub-Zero, where he has like the newer, rougher voice, but it's the old animated series design.
Yeah.
It's like a weird paradox.
Like, what is happening?
Why must you do this to me, Lisa? Okay, so
To be fair, that movie's like delayed like way too long
It was
because
delayed
of
a
the
year
it
because
wasn't
Batman
supposed.
and
It was
Robin
when did it
failed.
when did it come out? I knew it was supposed to come out around the same time as Batman and Robin.
It came out in '98,
Yeah,
but it
so it
was
was supposed to
supposed
come
to
out
be in
like the
'90s.
same time as Batman and Robin, and
Yeah,
then that movie flopped, and they just delayed it.
yeah, it was supposed to be like around the same time as Batman and Robin, but then because of how much a colossal failure that movie was, they were just like, well, let's push it another year, so people will forget about mysteries for now.
Isn't that what? I mean, they always do that though. Wasn't that why they released Brainiac Attacks? It was like to coincide with Superman Return.
I want to say so, or at least in that
we
time
don't talk
time
about
frame.
Brainiac Attacks. About Brainiac Attacks.
Is Brainiac Attacks the Brainiac Attacks isn't even canon to the DCAU. It just uses
No,
the
it's
same
not.
design.
It is not.
It's the same design,
It's
and it
not.
also has some of the voice cast from the animated series. It's weird. It's a weird movie too, like just in
It doesn't.
in
It
everything.
doesn't have Clancy
It's a
Brown.
parallel universe. Holy shit, I can't tell.
It's not a parallel universe I want to live
Oh yeah, because the movie's ass, but it's the DCAU. If the DCAU sucked dick,
with bad.
I always called it the Earth next door to the DCAU, the
Wow.
bad one.
the DCAU, if the A stand for ass.
Looks like discount DCAU.
Dollar store DCAU.
Great value.
Yeah. Kroger DCAU.
Like we have the DCAU at home, and then
Yeah, but
all
I was
the
gonna say the same
copy of
thing.
Brainiac.
Mom, I want the DCAU. We have the DCAU at home. Fucking beat me to it.
Listen, there's like a thin line between DeCamu and DCAU, and it's Brainiac Attacks.
Just right in the middle.
Yes, because
I prefer majority to DeCamu than Brainiac Attacks. So
Yeah. Yeah. So I wanted to kind of get into favorite Batman moments of all time, like just favorite Kevin Conroy Batman moments in general. Which ones stick out to you? Which ones, are your favorites? That kind of thing. So, who wants to go first?
AJ, you want to go?
Sure.
Go!
Well, so one of my favorite
taking too long.
episodes.
Next,
One of my favorite episodes of the show is it's one that not a lot of people talk about really, and actually I'm going to talk about two episodes. First I'm going to talk about I Am the Night. Is
Yes.
probably my favorite episode of the show.
It's a great one.
I actually watched I Am the Night when I got home Friday after I learned Kevin died.
Mm-hmm.
And the powerful scene where Batman is just languishing in his cave and just literally just questioning his own purpose and existence, and Kevin just completely
he's just like me for real.
realized it. And it's really moving. And my other favorite moment or just episode in the animated series is it's this episode called See No Evil.
Great
in Season
episode.
1.
Okay, yeah.
Which that that episode always like shook me when I was a kid, but I always came back to it, and I think it's just uh really powerful to see how much Batman cares about, you know, so like adults manipulating children
Yeah.
and how much that angers him. And
There's a lack of it too in modern iterations. That's
it's just
literally
really
Batman's
powerful to
character.
see him
It's literally who Batman
carry
is.
out that. It's just really powerful to see him carry out that, you know, that Batman is still that child
Right.
who lost a child.
God, that was really
So
powerful, dude, the way you put that.
so when he sees a child in danger, he's constantly trying to save himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alter.
All right, so we're gonna. I have a lot I want to talk about, so we're gonna kind of speed through these. I'm not gonna give as good of an explanation to mine as AJ just did. So yeah, let's just jump into it, Ray William Johnson style. So pretty much, the first one I want to talk about is a pretty underrated moment. I feel like that not a lot of people talk about, and that is from Gotham Knight. It's actually the the segment of the, I don't know what you call it. You don't call it episodes, do you? The different chapters of the film.
I call it
They're kind of like
chapters. I don't
shorts.
really call it like yeah.
All right. Well, the chapter of dealing with pain, that whole, just that whole thing is one of Kevin's best performances as Batman, having to showing him trying to learn to live with pain, having to deal with both physical pain and emotional pain, and you just there's it's really hard for me to describe uh, everything that happens in it, especially because I haven't seen Gotham Knight in a while.
Hmm.
But I do know that has some of the best character moments for Batman, in my opinion. Is that his interactions with some of the characters in that specific segment of the film is great, and showing Batman's journey throughout that whole segment is it's really inspiring, to be honest. But besides that, the next one I have is, of course, on the end of epilogue. We all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's my goat Kevin Conroy scene.
Yeah.
It is genuinely just one of the most tragic, but also the most. It shows how caring Batman is. It shows that he's not just the brute who beats the shit out of poor people on the street.
It's such a
It
heartwarming
it really shows
moment.
his human side more than I think a lot of people will say like a lot of people will say that Batman is this or that, but not a lot of people nowadays won't really see Batman as human, and that really shows the human side of Batman. That scene does. Another a couple of scenes I also want to talk about are of course, Joker's death in Arkham City.
Yeah.
Like that whole scene is just goaded. Of course, there's Batman saying like, what's funny at the end of everything. I still would have saved you. Still one of the most hardest hitting lines that Kevin's ever delivered. And yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to talk about. Of course, there's like the Nightfall Protocol ending in Arkham Knight, and I think that's everything that I want to talk about for now. But yeah, there's so many great moments. Oh yeah, there's also the end of Justice League Doom when he reveals his plans to how he can defeat every Justice League member.
Yeah.
I feel like that scene is also one of I'll give that an honorable mention as one of my favorite Kevin Batman scenes.
Swifty.
Um. Well, I will say that I kind of want to talk about some of my favorite episodes of the animated series. I won't really go too in depth or anything, but I just kind of want to list them off. Um, One of my absolute favorite episodes of BTAS, it's in like the top 10 for me, is Cape and Cowl Conspiracy.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
I love that
Great
episode.
episode.
Um, Heart of Ice, obviously, so great. That's another instance where the many times in the DCAU where Batman is just, you feel his struggle because he is watching this criminal, but he's a victim, not really a criminal. And he's, the way Kevin portrays him, it's like very much his spirit is tugging at himself, between like he's a good person, but he's doing terrible things.
Mm.
And Kevin did such a great job at. You can just hear it in the subtleties in his voice.
Yeah.
And like that's something that he carried over to the Arkham games. I actually think we got even more of that, and it was better in the Arkham games regarding the Mister Freeze stuff. Not the story, but him just talking to Freeze.
Yeah.
It's just so much more in depth. I love the strange secret of Bruce Wayne. That's a great episode. I love all the episodes like delving into Batman's psyche. I mean, how can we not mention Perchance to Dream? It's probably like arguably the best animated series episode.
It's top
Was
10
Kevin's
for sure.
favorite?
Yeah, it's like every time I watch. Another one that I also don't hear people talk a lot about is the Clock King episode, which is one of my favorites.
Oh yeah.
What's the episode called? Is it Tiger Tiger? Is that
Yeah,
what,
it's Tiger
what?
Tiger.
Yeah, that's a great episode. I like kind of the more wacky ones. I love the one where Poison Ivy reforms her life around, or so you think she does.
House and Garden.
Yes, that's a great episode.
Was that the one that ends with her leaving Gotham on the plane?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She has the fake out.
So terrific. But I think that anything in Arkham Asylum is a shining moment.
Yeah.
So great. Me and Marvel will always say it's the best Arkham game, objectively. Yeah.
Yeah.
My final thing is anything with, and I alluded to this earlier, anything with Kevin and Tim Daly involved is something that I cherish.
Yeah, like Superman, Batman, Public Enemies, I think like is really good with them together.
Yeah, like that. The ending when Batman like sets out to sacrifice himself, and then Superman says, "You just killed my best friend."
Yeah.
Yeah. It's such a strange thing because
Chills.
because both of them to me are the embodiments of the characters. Like if I read a Superman comic, I hear Tim Daly, and vice versa with Kevin. But it's like when you hear Tim Daly say that line, it's you really believe. Like it just puts it into a different perspective. Like, yeah, this is Superman's best friend. In a weird way, they have this like strange rivalry that is, they do things completely different ways, but they respect each other more than anybody else on the face of the earth.
Yeah. Like that movie, like even though they didn't really voice like with each other much as they're, Superman and Batman together, like you can definitely see that friendship still there for however long they've been, crime fighting and stuff. Like, so, I guess it's my turn now. So
that would be right.
I'm gonna pick two moments, and then I also want to mention my favorite episode of the animated series, or one of them anyway. So
I'm
as far
curious.
as one of my favorite episodes, it's one that people talk about constantly, but Almost Got Him is a
Yeah,
great
I was gonna mention that
is a
one.
great great episode. As
Good.
far as moments though, like I'm gonna just rattle off some off the top of my head. I mean, besides the ones they've already mentioned, like Epilogue and Arkham City and stuff. Um, One I want to mention is the ending of Baby Doll, where
Yeah,
we're in the Hall of Mirrors.
that's a great scene.
Yeah,
I I I know it doesn't happen like a lot, but I do find it funny how many like Batman scenes there are in a Hall of Mirrors, and I really like it.
I didn't catch what you said.
Um, I
The
know it
ending.
hasn't I know it hasn't happened a lot,
Uh-huh.
but I find it funny that how much Batman scenes are in a Hall of Mirrors,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
and I really like it.
yeah. But just that like that scene of like where she shoots all the mirrors and she's just standing there with the one that looks like what she's supposed to look like as an adult. It's all shattered, and she's still pulling the trigger. Like it has always just like stuck with me,
Yeah.
and it's just so profound. And also is another case where like Batman's, you know, he's not just beating up all these villains and just calling it a day. Like he actually confides into them, and you know there's some kind of
Yeah,
mutual respect between them. And
like he has compassion.
yeah. Um, Another moment, very small one, but very impactful, is from Mask of the Phantasm. It's in the flashbacks, and it's him in front of his parents' grave, basically saying that, he didn't think this would happen. With all the stuff with Andrea, like he didn't account for being happy.
Yeah. That
Uh,
scene cuts to my heart.
yeah, it just breaks it in two and
I just
smashes
want to
it to
mention
tiny pieces.
that, like, I'm surprised we went this long without mentioning the greatest Batman movie ever made,
Yeah.
Mask of the Phantasm. Uh, but
I
yeah, I'm
act-
glad
I
we
actually
said that.
moved that movie up to my number one.
Well, it was there before, wasn't it?
I
Or
don't think it was
all time?
of all time.
Okay, okay. Yeah, it wasn't there before. I thought
Yeah.
you just meant in Batman movies. Yeah,
No, it's
is
number one.
Phantasm is probably in my top 10 favorite movies of all time. It's just stuck with me my whole like ever since I first
Yeah,
watched it.
Yeah.
And it's so emotionally connecting. Like you relate to Bruce Wayne so much in that movie. And
it's
Kevin's
just
performance is
incredible.
so incredible.
Yeah. One last moment I want to mention. It's another kind of small character moment, but it's in the Gotham Knight anime movie. It's in the segment where he gets the sonic repel gadget, where it's like people shoot at him from a certain distance, and the bullets literally bounce off of like this energy field.
Yeah, yeah.
One of the thugs gets injured, and after taking him to the hospital, he gives the device back to Lucius, and Lucius is like, "Is there any problems that you've come across?" And he's like, "Yeah, there's one big problem. This thing is too perfect." And he's telling Lucius like, he's willing to put his life on the line, but it only has to be his life and nobody else's.
Yeah.
And yeah, that like out of all the times I've watched Gotham Knight, and like it's not as many as some others. Like that moment always like just sticks with me, and that whole short, like that whole chapter too, is the best one in that movie, I'd say.
Yeah. It's very good.
Yeah.
Well, as an outro, let's just give our final thoughts on Kevin Conroy
All
as a
right.
person. rather.
That's
Just
a
remember the band.
that's a very bad way to word that.
Well, you know what I mean. Drake. Don't ever call me again. On my cell phone.
So
I wanted you to race my mind. I got the keys. Please.
I remember when you were like going off about how he released 2 of the worst house albums in 1 year.
oh shit.
It was so funny.
Bro, his previous 2 albums were so fucking ass, but I love Drake's music before that.
Oh my god. So yeah, final thoughts on
I've
Kevin.
been trying.
Who
My
wants
fault.
who wants to go first?
Um, I can go first.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
Alto, do you want to go first?
Like, what am I supposed to be saying right now?
Final thoughts on Kevin and just the memory of Kevin and
Yeah.
Listen,
whatever you want to
listen.
say.
Kevin was more than Kevin was more than just a voice actor. Kevin was an icon to the entire comic book fandom in general, just as a person, and especially as Batman. He's changed people's lives, including myself. He's inspired many others, and just genuinely, the Batman mythos just won't be the same without his presence. And he is by far the definitive Batman. He is the greatest Batman, and no one will top him ever. Let's just
Yeah.
get that out of the way.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Swifty.
Kevin seemed like one of the most genuine people I have ever heard talk. He was one of the most devoted to making fans happy and taking time out of whatever he was doing to talk to his fans and to actually like sort of get to know his fans. He let you talk to him. He wasn't snobby at all like any Hollywood people. Um, and he truly cared about the character he played, which is not something that everyone has, at least not to that extent. And yeah, like I said in the beginning of the video, and I'll continue to say it, it's a shame that I never got the chance to meet him. I had one encounter with him when I was 10 or 11 years old, and I'll never forget it. And this is the closest I got to meeting him. I wrote to him on Twitter, and I said, "Kevin, thank you for everything you've done for me. I want to be like you when I'm older, and you're Batman. You make me want to pursue art as what I want to do when I grow up." And he responded back, and he didn't respond back with like a paragraph or anything. He just said, "Thank you so much for the kind words, Josh, Kevin." And I just want you to know, Kevin, wherever you are, those words mean the world to me, and they always will. And you made a little boy's summer that year just by those little words, making me feel like, wow, Batman knows my name. He talked to me. So, Batman, I love you. Thank you for everything.
AJ.
Honestly, I have been thinking and wrestling with, any idea of what to say about, the fact that he's gone. Um, and he was an amazing person, you know, an incredible human being. Like, if there was ever anything to measure whether you lived a good life, it would be Kevin Conroy. And he changed my life. I wouldn't be who I today with him. So
Yeah.
he will always be Batman.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there are only so many words to really say about Kevin. From the one interaction that I had with him, he seemed like just such a passionate and genuine, like, loving person who really loved his fans. He loved the character he was playing. He loved acting in general. Like, he was just such a kind and gentle soul, and it is so terrible that he's no longer with us. And he will always be Batman, no matter, for all the actors who've come and gone over the years. Some really great ones, both on the live action big screen and also on the small voice acting small screen. you know he will always come out on top, because he really understood what that character is and what it means to everyone. And yeah, he just um, you know, rest on Kevin. Condolences to your family, and yeah. So I think that's gonna be it for the episode. Sorry we haven't really done any videos for a while. I think all of us were just kind of on a like, we just needed a bit of time to just get our bearings in. Um, Hopefully we can pump some episodes out next week and beyond that. Um, but I feel, just for all of us, we're all still in a very, like, closed off state. So we'll see what happens.
I need to get back in that sleeping mode mindset.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
is there anything you guys want to plug? Any videos that you're working on, or what you're up to?
I just want to say two things really quickly. One, Alter sounds like what Bizarro sounds like in Superman and Lois. And two, yeah, AJ and I have the AJ Tour podcast. We haven't recorded an episode in like 2 weeks, but hopefully this coming week we'll get back to it. But we really enjoy recording them, and
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
so far
And
everyone has had a good response to it.
yeah,
So
it's been very
Fucking
receptive.
sucks.
yeah, of course you're not a guest. You're never coming on.
You're done, kid. You're done.
So yeah, that's really what I'm kind of doing.
Yeah, I will. I love doing the AJ tour. It's such a joy.
No.
Besides that, I'm working on my feature. I'm writing my feature film. What is going to be my first feature film? Kevin.
Shout out to AJ, by the way, who I asked for. Those of you who follow me on Instagram know that I posted on my story. I asked AJ for Superman comic book recommendations, and he gave me a whole college essay on every single era of Superman comics. So, I was like, he did not even need to do that, and I was so grateful, because it really, like, I've been so into Superman lately. Like, I always loved him. He was always in my top. He was always in the Trinity for me: Batman, Spider-Man, Superman. That was always how it was. But I never, like, completely got into the lore of the comic books. I just knew him from all that other, all the TV shows and live action. But
I just
yeah,
have to do with it.
I was like, man, AJ's really happy that I'm finally getting into Superman on a deeper level.
I love giving comic recommendations to people,
It was great. Next thing I'll ask for Green
I'm
Arrow
obsessed.
and Justice League and
Oh,
everything.
oh yeah. It's
Listen,
gonna be
man,
a
if you can
lot.
recommend me some comics, I can recommend you to some bitches. All right.
All right, you know what? Your picture's Drake. Get a life. His last 2 albums suck. Okay, Marvel. What about you? What are you working on?
Actually, I wanted to ask Altar because I know that he's planning his
We
comeback.
don't. We don't. No, no, no. We don't. That doesn't matter. That doesn't
Oh,
matter.
oh, also one more thing before the
Before Alter ruins
the
everything.
techno babble
Jesus.
starts.
The
Um,
techno babble.
uh, I also have
You guys just have like beef with me for no reason.
I also okay. That's such a Drake thing to say. Um, I
Drake's
I
the type
have
of guy to
I have a
float
video
when he smells pie.
I have a video essay coming out soon about Swamp Thing.
Oh, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, that'll be a good one.
Okay, Drake.
Altar.
Well, I just released my album Her Loss featuring 21 Savage. It was nah. Uh, I'm working on new music constantly. Have a new EP dropping eventually whenever I get to work on that. I book studio time. I'm just waiting for that because I book studio time next week. Hopefully, I'll be able to get that EP done. I'm making my grand return to YouTube in exactly 7 days. That's gonna be really cool. I'm gonna come back with some videos. I'm gonna start hitting hard. Got some other things planned that I'm still trying to work out on, but yeah, a lot of stuff that I'm doing, and about half of it will come out.
Yeah. So, as far as what I'm doing, I mean, I'm always working on the next review. I'm not going to say what it is, but it's not a comic book game, at least right now. I'll save the comic book ones for next year and start pumping those out.
An Axel Braun production.
My Avengers review came out, um, which I was really excited to finally put out there. I got a pretty good response. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be, but and as far as just smaller stuff, like I got some stuff down the pipeline for the month, and I just put out a video. Technically yesterday, by the time this video goes up, talking about meeting Kevin Conroy and basically a tribute to him as a person, an actor, et cetera, et cetera. So I hope people watch that and share their experiences and such. We can all just come together and talk about how much we love Kevin over and over again. And yeah, but that's basically it as far as me. But yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, all that. Be sure to follow us on our social media, Instagram, Twitter. A lot of people have been following us on the Instagram, even though we haven't posted in quite a while. But we're going to try and fix
Just like
that.
random Indian accounts too. It's like really random.
It's just random people showing up. But who'll probably get their accounts deleted in like a week, but whatever, the follower count goes up.
All the spam accounts are following us. So if you got a spam Instagram account, go ahead and check out the Speaking Report.
But yeah, as far as what's happening next for the podcast, I have some ideas, but we'll see how much that actually pans out. And yeah, I was thinking maybe at some point, like maybe next year, so like just kind of taking a break for all of us. I know we haven't done a video in 2 weeks, but I think all of us just kind of need a break from the podcast and all that. But yeah, that's stuff for us to discuss. But anyway, have a great night. Thank you all so much for watching, and take care of yourselves. See ya.